Welcome to Deacon Speaking. In this series, I'm interviewing diaconal candidates and deacons in the Diocese of Idaho. We're going to learn more about how they feel called to the diaconate, their work, and their passions that are driving their call. And I'm really grateful today because I am welcoming my good friend Scott Ellsworth, who is a deacon at St. Stephen's and has been active in the diocese for about, Scott, 25 years?
No, 1985.
All right. That's when you moved to the diocese.
Yep.
So, took you about another 10 years to start the process, though.
Becoming in a deacon, right? I was very active, but I wasn't in that realm of things. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which is pretty much the story for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
Become very active, and then one thing leads to another. In fact, that's a little bit about what I want to ask you. Can you tell people who are viewing this how you felt called to the diaconate? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, I guess journey kind of started as a kid, I was my grandfather was an Episcopal priest, and so my mom was a preacher's kid, and we were always going to church and so on, and always very active. So you kind of got into that, and so I was attending all the time, but then I became part of the choir and acolyte and, lector, lay reader, all of those types of things, and kind of kept that, I don't know, it was how can I do more, or what can I do, what is calling me. And when I went to college, I somehow fell into, college can be a big thing, but turns out there was an Episcopal campus ministry there. Became part of that. I was again lector, lay reader, all of that stuff, and got more involved with that, and then came here to Idaho in 1985 and talked with a number of my priests, Jim Davis and Greg Griffiths and David Wetstein, trying to think about, well, is there something else that I should be doing, or am I still called to something? And next thing you know, I'm part of the FFM group and going in to become a deacon. So that's kind of my ongoing, that you kind of like have that itch that's there, that something's missing, but then you kind of keep going, keep getting pulled in to find something else to do. So that's where I'm at. So it's been a long journey. Yes.
And a life's journey, really.
Yes.
A lifetime journey. So as you have been 25 years a deacon.
Yes, I was ordained in 1998. So yes,
1998.
6 years. Yep.
So what have been some of your diaconal roles? What have you been called into?
Kind of active in a lot of things. Of course, very active in the liturgy at St. Stephen's and being the deacon and helping out wherever you can. But then taking that to the nursing homes and the assisted living. We did that for years until pandemic with Valley View every other week. And then also is being very, very active in the mission committee. I was part of mission committee before I was a deacon, but then as I became deacon, I was running the mission committee and trying to say, how can we help serve others? And so we have worked in trying to build relationships throughout the parish and throughout that process to make sure that we can do and build relationships with others in the community. And like throughout my diaconal, I started working as part of FFM, as part of that Formation for Ministry process. We're starting to work with building a food bank, but why do we build one at St. Stephen's when right across the street was St. Mark's? So we started supporting St. Mark's Food Bank. Next thing you know, from our support of collecting food every week, we ended up, now we're volunteering and running the food bank on Wednesdays, and then we also give a major portion of our donations at Christmas to the food bank. And so now it's called the St. Mark's / St. Stephen's Food Bank. And so we are very proud. I'm very proud to be able to be part of that, and we continue to work with them on that. So that's just one piece of that mission that we've kind of stepped out and doing here in the area. So
Another mission that you've really helped to develop is the Davis Fund. Can you talk about that?
Yes. As part of that mission committee, one of the things that we were really working for is to build relationships. So it's not a one thing. So it's, we're building relationships with senior centers and so on. Well, one of the things that came up is that the idea of educators, students as well as teachers, a lot of times they have needs that cannot be helped. So the mission committee at St. Stephen's started working with Fairmont Junior High as being helping them with their petty cash in order to help the students fund some of these things. And that grew into the Jim and Alberta Davis Education Fund that is run by the mission committee. But we gather donations and then we give them out to schools as they need them. Like Fairmont would do eyeglasses for students, or dental care, or driver's training is a big one that we're covering right now, as well as, buying yearbooks, or, a student that wants to go out for the track team but cannot afford to buy a uniform. We help with some of those things. So it goes on and on. Food for things. We've even helped, of course, grade schools, junior highs, senior highs. We've even supported food for BSU students that could not afford it. And then we also have gone beyond that. We're supporting some families in Kenya to go to school because you have to have a school uniform there, and there is tuition. There's not free stuff. So one of the things we really, I think, are proud of is that we sponsored a grandmother to go to school to become a teacher. So now she is teaching her kids in her community over there on how to do that. So there's just ongoing things like that. Some of them take us on a spin to say, whoa, how is that helping the student? But then if the student cannot safely go to school and be safely, like sleeping or doing homework or whatever in their home, then to me, they're not being a good student. So how can we support that to say, okay, where do we go and how do we help with that? So.
Well, I remember last fall you talked about how much money was given through the Davis Fund to support kids, teachers, social workers in education. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of money. Do you remember what that number was?
Can't remember what this year's was, but we have been up to like $15,000 a year. I remember at least one year we were doing that. And so it's, and all that's donations, because we also, St. Stephen's also is supporting mission by having a line item in the budget for mission to support mission in the area. And yes, we do ask for donations to go into that mission to, take meals to the senior center or something like that. But the Davis Fund is 100% donations, and it's been going for like, I don't know how many years now. So
long time.
Yes, it has. Yes.
Yeah.
And this last year, we've done even more with that mission of the Davis Fund, is that we're supporting the new Interfaith Sanctuary building. They're going to have a classroom in that building, and we've supported that with $10,000 this last year. And we also did it at the right time, that it's a double, somebody anonymously double matched that. So it's really $20,000 that went into this new classroom at the new Interfaith Sanctuary that'll be on State Street.
That's really incredible.
Yeah.
Really incredible. And it's wonderful work, which kind of leads me into how do you feel about what is your passion within this ministry? Do you know what drives you other than that itch?
I don't know. What drives me is the smile and the happy faces you see on people when you go and help them, serve them somehow, whether it's distributing bread at communion, or whether it's serving a meal at a senior center, or giving students, a yearbook type of thing. All of those things really, to me, makes me feel good. And that strives to say, okay, how are we being Jesus in our community? How are we supporting those around us that need help? Whether it's, pray for them or, be with them in the hospital or wherever it goes. It's hard to say that, oh, this is one, but then to me, I also stretch that in. It's not just on Sundays. I try to live my life as being that all week long, all year long, so that no matter where I'm at, no matter who I'm with, I try to, how can I help you? How can I serve you, you could say, or, or just be a friendly ear to listen to somebody. To me, taking communion out to people or to nursing centers, that to me gives me more than, I'm not sure how much I'm giving them, but it gives me more too. So
it's reciprocal, isn't it?
Yes, it is very reciprocal. Yes.
Yeah. One of the things I love about deacons is having that opportunity to see Christ in others.
Yes.
And that presence that goes with us wherever we go. So you kind of wrap that up pretty well for us, Deacon Scott. The only one thing I might add is I, over the years, have also been impressed by your many ministries in the diocese. You've been on probably every committee there is at a diocesan level. So I know your ministry is not just at St. Stephen's. You see that in the broader church too.
Yes. Well, it's some people think I'm crazy, but I attending conventions, okay, and doing these things. So I've like you say, I've been on diocesan council, diocesan commission on ministry. I'm currently on the standing committee. I've gone to general convention in Anaheim. So I've been on those things. I have not been part of Paradise Point committee yet.
Yeah.
So almost, but I probably shouldn't say that because now I'll be in there. But so however I can help, and whether that's, serving or helping administrate or having that other voice out there, hopefully from a deacon's standpoint, but a voice out there to say, this, we need to think some more. Like Commission on Ministry, when I was there, we were really trying to strive to make it for those going to be clergy as well as those being lay. But, you get so bogged down in how many things you have to do to go through the process for clergy, the lay don't quite get enough time on that. So we went through Discerning Hearts with vestries and stuff all across the diocese, trying to do something like that. But it's hard. It's hard to do everything you want to do, and it's doesn't move fast enough sometimes.
There's always something more to do.
Always.
I want to thank you for this interview, Scott, and thank you so much for sharing your time with us and for all the work that you do. You really have been a blessing for a very long time for the diocese.
Well,
so
thank you. Yep.
All right. We'll talk again. I have no doubt about that.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay.